Hello, once again. Welcome to the last session or the last example on this slide. Right? Actually, there are lots of examples we are going to look at, but with respect to this, it ends on the seventh example. We are going to continue back with this slide. This is the last one. So we are going to still stick with our default way of working on problems. We start with our construction lines, right? So basically, that's what we are going to do. So let me just position this here. So as I said, you can just position or draw anywhere. So from this, we are going to plot and see the outcome, right? So let's turn on for construction. Don't be scared about this. So we'll be plotting and we are going to move or we are going to leave or remove all the construction layer from our drawing. So to make it active, but before that, we can see that there's also some line, right? These are also some circles, right? They are circles we've not added any layer to. So we have our outline layer, which is 0.7. It has a line width of 0.7 for our outlines. I can see that this is a continuous line, but it's not having a thickness of the 0.7. So we have to create that or create a new layer for that. We just do that again. We know how to create new layers, so we just create a new layer. I'm going to name it thin, and I'm going to change its line thickness, right? So they are saying I should specify same name, really. Okay, so if you've not created any layer, it's not going to, you can still use the thin, but I created it previously, so let me just make it thin line, thin underscore line. That has been created. We change the line width to 0.30. Then we stick with everything. And we click apply and click OK. So we've created our new thin layer for the circle. So we make sure that that new thin layer we created is now active. It's currently active. We hit our circle, click anywhere in the graphical user interface. We just click and specify a radius. Currently, it has diameter specified. So we can just choose to use the center diameter or the center radius. So if you want to specify the diameter, we just click on this diameter in our command line, or we just hit D and hit enter. So you can see that the graphical interface or the dimension changes, right? You can see it's now specifying diameters. So we are going to specify our diameter of 51 for our first circle. We hit enter again to make sure that the circle command is now active again. We hit its center and we specify a diameter, right? Again. So we specify a diameter of 32. Hit enter. So now we have our smaller circle and our bigger circle or our larger circle. To continue, we can choose to draw some constructional lines which are perpendicular to each other. So we draw a vertical line and an horizontal line. But I'm going to model like half and mirror it to the other side. So let me just go in for the construction, right? And click on line, position it and move it to any distance. Any distance is fine for me. And I'm going to go again from here. I'll just go down. Any distance is okay for me. So you can use the distance I've used so far. So I used approximately. So you can just use any distance, okay? Just click anywhere, which is approximately okay for you. The next is to add an angle, this angular line, right? So we do that by just clicking on line, the line command, and still construction. So click on the endpoint, position the line anywhere, so like approximately around this area. Then just hit tab, right? The tab key, and type in a value of 15 to specify the angle and hit enter to exit the line command. So we now have a line which has a specific magnitude and also has an angle of 50 from this side. So with respect to where you want to position this angle, you perform your calculation. So assuming if I wanted to position the angle to my extreme left, it means I would subtract 150, sorry, 15 from the 180 to get the angle from the angle I want. Basically, it measures its angles using the anti-clockwise, right? This is clockwise going this way. So it uses anti-clockwise or counterclockwise. That is so 0, 15 in order. So to move on, to continue, I'm going to sketch this pitch circle. It's called a pitch circle with a pitch diameter. Pitch circles basically mean imaginary circles, right? So I'm going to use the center layer I created for that, and I'll click on the center point, right, and I'll specify a radius of 51. It can be seen here. So a radius of 51 and hit enter. So the moment I have that, I'll just use this intersection as my center point to sketch this circle with a radius of um, a diameter of 26 or a radius of 30. So it has a diameter of 26. I'm going to stick with the diameter section. So we just make sure that the intersection relation are shown. We click on that to position our endpoint and we specify the diameter. So our diameter is supposed to be 26. Hit enter. Then I'll change this layer, right? You know how to change layers to outline. Then that is done. So the moment I'm done with that, I'll offset this line because there's an offset distance from here to this center point to be a 45. So I'll just use the offset. We've been doing that. So offset hits a value of 45, right? Click and position it in a desired direction, right? So the moment you are done with this, we know that there's also another offset distance from this point to this point, which is half of 77, right? So this is much more like a symmetrical plane, cutting this entire geometry into two. So if I take half of it to this side, it means if I measure from this center point to this center point, I'm going to get the entire magnitude of the 77. So let me just use my calculator. So 0.77, 77 divided by 2. And I'm going to have a value of 38.5. So that will be the offset distance. So I'll just click on offset again, right, and specify a distance. So I'll click on offset, specify a distance of 38.5, hit enter, and I'll just click on this line, and now I'll use this intersection. I could have just used the normal position the mouse or the crosshair at the end point and just move it to your extreme right, then just type in the distance. But I just want to use this technique too. They all work. So which one is good for you? You stick to that. So you make sure that you click on circle again, right? You click on circle, you step or you position your crosshair on the intersection point between the two lines, the two perpendicular lines. You click there and you specify the diameter, which is 26 and a radius of 13. So because I'm using center radius, I'm going to specify the radius to be 13. And I'll change the outline to the layer to outline because this is a typical outline. The moment you are done with this, the next thing to do, or the perfect thing to do, is to add a a tan radius circle. So I'll just go to the circle option, select tan radius, select the two objects that are tangential to each other, specify the radius to be 38, hit enter, and we are done. So I'll go back and change this layer to outline, move it from the construction, and I'll just use the trim tool to trim unwanted objects or unwanted geometries. So I'm using the middle mouse button. I'm scrolling up to zoom in, down to zoom out, and the middle mouse button you press hold to pan. So that's what I've been doing so far. and we are all used to that. So the next is to use the mirror to mirror all these objects to the other side, right? So I'm going to select the object. It's going to be this circle, this arc, and this circle again. Then I'll hit enter. Then to specify the point, I'm just going to use this point. Make sure, and I'll select no, so that the objects won't be erased. So all of this has been explained. The next is to add a line. So I'll make sure that I'm back to the outline. I don't want to be changing that much. Click on line and specify this line, right? So I'll just make sure that I can come back to my object snap and make sure that the quadrant of the circle is checked. So the moment it's checked, I can just specify or click on the quadrant or yep to just add it. And then you can see that all what we want has started to show out clearly, right? The next is to add another circle. So I'm going to switch to a center diameter and make sure I'm getting this quadrant. So with the quadrant on, and I'll specify a diameter of 26, hit enter, and the next will be just the center, tan, and a radius. So I'll just click and click on these objects, tan, and the radius should be 38. Hit enter, and I'll perform my trimming. Just remove unwanted stuff. So with the trimming, you just click and pull, like click and pull. Right? It's very easy to do. The next is to just mirror. I'll use the mirror and the object I'm going to mirror, like what we did previously. Select the object, you hit enter, then you just select the mirror plane, then everything is done. So I made a mistake. I'm supposed to just mirror just this arc. Hit enter, select this, and finally everything is done. Right. So with this, we are done, and the most important thing is to add the dimension. But fortunately for us, or yeah, they shaded or they cleared most of the pitch, so they made it a pitch arc. So we are also going to stick with that. So we go back to our trim tool, just trim these unwanted stuff, right? Just trim them out, trim them off, trim them all off, trim all of them. Yeah, to make it very easy, just click on it this way, hit delete, and all of these have been explained previously. So after this, we add our dimension, right? That's something we've been doing. We click on the annotate, we hit the power dimension, because most of our dimensions will be added in power form. We turn off the object snap so that we don't get any interaction with any of the relations between the objects or the geometries we are working with. Then we hit enter. So after specifying enter, we just click on that. So this we want a diameter because we use center diameter. The software itself is using diameter for it for us. Hit enter again. Enter again. Specify this diameter as well. Then next is this radius. So this is also giving us a radius because we use the center radius for it. So the software is doing a lot of things for us, which is very fortunate or very good for us, right? So this has this, but we would like to add this note 5 bosses. So with this, you can add it within this dimension itself. So I'll be doing that and try and explain everything. So let me add this radius to, which is supposed to be a 38, and the next is the endpoint relation. I have to make sure that it's on. I'll specify this point and specify this point, and I'll be able to keep a dimension. The next is to add an angle, right? So let me explain this. So you can see that in the drawing we are using, they added some notes. You can use notes or just specify all these parameters in the dimension itself. So let's just double click on the dimension, and you can just hit the home key, then just type 5 bosses. Then you press shift and enter at the same time. You press shift and enter, then you can just close the editor and you have access to this. So you can position it, you can see it's moving with the dimension. That's how you can go by it. Or you can go through it the hard way by just using notes, right? You'll get to know how to use the note tool as well. With the angle, we select the angular, right? On the annotate bar, we select the angle, then you click on the object you want to add the angles to, which is basically these lines. Then you add the angle, which is supposed to be 15. So currently we are done with whatever we are done, and the next is to plot.